Hi everyone, Chris Murray of Elevation Wheel Company here. Today I want to do a video with you showing the differences among a lot of the more common high-end hubs on the market. These are in no specific order other than just by cost. They're all actually really good quality hubs and you can't really go wrong with any of them, although there are definitely slight differences between the different versions and obviously drastic price differences. But first off, let's start with the Spank Hex hubs. These are relatively new. Looks like a really promising quote-unquote budget hub. First off, thanks to Gorilla Gravity, they sent me this cutout hub so we can really get a good idea on what the drive system looks like on the inside of these hubs, how it works, and conveniently enough, this pulse system functions similar to a lot of the other hubs on the on this list. So seeing how this one works will give you a good mental picture on how a lot of the others will work as well. But this hub has 102 teeth, drive ring, 6 pawls, and it gives you a total of 3.5 degrees engagement. So very fast engaging hub for not a whole lot of money. The hub, it comes in black only and weighs 491 grams for boost 6-bolt, and the suggested retail on this hub is $298. Hub looks super promising, but it is new enough that time will tell on how well it holds up in the real world, but it definitely looks very promising. So I expect to build a fair bit of these in the future. Next up is going to be the DT350. It's kind of a tried and true. There's countless of thousands of these hubs out there. They just simply work. Nothing flashy, but just super reliable, priced well, easy to get a hold of. But the DT350 comes with an 18-tooth star ratchet, but you can't upgrade it to 54-tooth. So the 18 is admittedly fairly slow engaging, so there's a lot of play in the cranks before you feel it engage. That's kind of a bummer, but it is a reliable hub, and depending on your riding style, you may or may not notice that. The 54 gets a fair bit better engagement, still not like world class, but definitely good enough to not be annoying. The only downside when you go up to the 54 2-star ratchet is they do seem to be a little bit more prone to issues if you don't maintain them well, and you get some dirt in there. But the DT350 comes in black only. The hub set weighs about 474 grams for boost 6-bolt, and the suggested retail on this hub set is $357. These are all US dollars, by the way. With DT, that price varies slightly depending on which model and driver and stuff you're looking at, but that should get you a pretty good ballpark. Next up is going to be a super popular one. That's the Hope Pro 4. These are used all over, super common, but for good reason. It's priced well, holds up well, engagement's decent, and it comes in a lot of color options. So the Hope has a 4-pawl ratchet system with a 44-tooth drive ring, so it gets you 8.2 degrees of engagement. So again, not lightning fast, but fast enough to not be bothersome. You can get this thing in black, silver, red, blue, purple, and orange, so you get a lot of color options. The weight on the hub set is about 499 grams for boost 6-bolt. These hubs are made in the UK and retail for $365 for the pair. Next up is going to be the i911 hubs. These are relatively new to the market, Yeah, i9 knocked it out of the park with these. It's a fantastic hub, budget to i9 standards. But yeah, I really, really like this hub. It's got 90 points of engagement, which translates to about 4 degrees worth of movement before it engages through a 6-ball driver. Black, only available in black. That's one of the ways they brought the cost down. The hub set is 460 grams for a Boost 6-bolt. It's made in the USA with a suggested retail of $425. Again, I really, really like this hub. i9 did a great job with it. Almost so good that I feel like it's going to hurt their Hydra hubs because this thing functions fantastic. So it's pretty hard to go wrong with. Next up is going to be Hadley. So Hadley is kind of a cool but weird company. They make fantastic hubs. You can tell they put a lot of care into what they're doing. The downside with Hadley is they're a little trickier to find. I mean, we can get them for you, but they're not as readily available as some others. And Hadley, for some reason, still doesn't have a website. They should fix that. But it's a great hub nonetheless. It definitely is on par with any of these high-end hubs from bigger brands, so it's definitely worth looking at. This one has 72 points of engagement with a titanium driver, so your cassette's not going to dig into the free hub like some of the aluminum ones will, and it still maintains a pretty decent weight. So these you can get in black, gold, red, silver, or blue. The hub set weighs about 567 grams for the Boost 6-bolt, made in the US and with a suggested retail of $485. So it's a fantastic hub, hard to go wrong with. My biggest gripe with Hadley is they just need to get in modern times and build a website. All right, next up is going to be one of my favorites, which is the White Industries XMR or CLD hub set. The only difference between the two hubs is the way they attach the brakes. So the CLD is going to be their center lock version. The XMR is going to be their 6-bolt. Really like these guys as a company. They make a fantastic product. I use these a lot. But these have a 3-pawl driver with 48 points of engagement. So relatively quick, but nothing crazy still. They also use a titanium driver, so super durable, and you don't have to worry about your cassette digging into it like you can with some of the aluminum stuff. Another bonus point for White Industries is you can swap their drivers between all of their hubs. Their rim brake road hubs use the same drivers as their tandem hubs, same driver as their mount hubs. It makes servicing things and stocking parts significantly easier than a lot of other companies. Yeah, so well done, White Industries there. But you can get these in a bunch of different colors: silver, black, red, blue, gold, pink, or purple anno. The hub set weighs about 489 grams for a 6-bolt Boost. They're made in California with a suggested retail of $523. My apologies. But yeah, these are a tough one to go wrong with. I really like these guys. Next up is another smaller brand that still holds its own with some of the big players really, really well. Project 321. These guys have been around for a while and only recently started really crushing it with their hub game. They started off just using i9 torch drivers and then developed their own that uses magnets in the pawls instead of springs. So servicing them is super easy, and it also cuts down on a little bit of the drag. So with that driver system, they've got 216 points of engagement. They also have a 108, I think it is, option. So pretty much instant engagement. Another cool thing you can do with Project 321 is switch between loud or quiet pawls. So if you like a quiet hub, you can select the quiet version. If you like loud hubs, you can select the loud. Basically, they do that by just changing the amount of mass on the pawl, so it snaps harder when it engages. So it changes the tone a little bit. But really cool, really well thought out. Runs super smooth. You can get these in just about any color out there. Hub set weighs 451 grams for boost 6 bolt. These are made in Bend, Oregon, and have a suggested retail of $600. So this is probably one of my favorite high-end hubs for mountain stuff. Again, all of these hubs in this list are actually pretty good. I just really like the Project 321 driver setup. I like how they did it with magnets, and I think it works really well. All right, so next up is going to be the i9 Hydra hubs. Anyone who's looking at high-end hubs has surely come across these. They're really good hubs, backed by good people. Yeah, just another one that's hard to go wrong with. These have 690 points of engagement, or just a half a degree of movement before it engages. So insanely fast, works really well, holds up pretty well. Can get them in pretty much any color out there. The hub set itself weighs 451 grams for boost 6 bolt. These are made in North Carolina with a suggested retail of $650. These are also available in just about any axle spacing on the market too. But yeah, i9 is a great company. People behind it's rad. Easy to work with. They hold up well. So yeah, just a great option if you're looking for high-end hubs. So next up is going to be Onyx. These guys are really big in the BMX world, but also starting to get really popular in the mountain bike world as well. They're a little different than a lot of the others. They don't use pawls like a lot of the other brands. They use a sprag clutch, so it coasts super smooth. There's literally no noise when coasting because there's no pawls snapping in and out of place. But yeah, they works really well and truly instant engagement. Just the downside is they're heavier than a lot of the other stuff on the market and they're kind of spendy. But these you can get in just about any color. They've got ano options, powder coated options, custom laser etching options. They can do just about anything you want. These weigh in at 680 grams, so definitely the heaviest on the list. These are made in the US as well with a suggested retail of $675. The difference between their Vespers and the standard Onyx hubs is basically just how they've machined the hub shells. But yeah, great hub, especially if you like super quiet. These are obviously the quietest on the list because there's no noise at all coming from them. All right, so next up is Chris King. Anyone looking at high-end hubs has definitely found these guys as well. They've kind of always been near the top of the list for high-end boutique hubs. But they use a 72-point ring drive system where, like the DTs, you've got full 360 degrees of engagement whenever it's engaged, not just a few points around the hub shell. So it's super strong setup. Fairly quick at 72 points of engagement. It's definitely one of the more complex drive mechanisms out there. It does work really well, but it is a little more sensitive to maintenance compared to some of the other systems out there, but it still is a pretty damn resilient setup. King also makes just about any color you could think of. They even do some really cool matte finishes available. Then they do some just standard anode stuff too. But chances are, if you can think of the color, they've got it available. But this hub set weighs about 543 grams for the set and boost 6 bolt. These are made in Portland with a suggested retail of $700. Great hub if you want something that looks gorgeous. Yeah, I really like King hubs. They function well, but you don't really get that much more for the increased price versus some of the others, like say Project 321 or Hydras or some of those other ones. I think those are a little bit better bang for the buck, but King makes a gorgeous product, so it's still a really cool one to look at. So if cost isn't your concern, you just want something cool, King is definitely a good option there. Next, we have the DT240S. This is their older style 240. Remained unchanged for a long time, but for good reason. It worked really, really well. They're definitely the lightest in the test, and probably one of the more, it's hard to say more durable. They're all really durable hubs, but these things last forever. These ship with a 36 tooth star ratchet that you can upgrade to 54 tooth if you want a little bit faster engagement. But these are only available in black with the suggested retail of $712. You'll start seeing these phased out a little bit in favor of their new XP hubs, but they're still around, so I figured I'd throw these in the list, and I had one floating around the shop anyways. So next up is the 240 EXP, the new DT240 hub. Unfortunately, I didn't have one of these to pull apart for you, so I'll throw up some stock images from DT. But this can either be shipped with a 36 tooth or 54 tooth ratchet ring. So same engagement as the old hubs. Black only still, 364 grams for the hub set with a suggested retail of $749 with the 54 tooth ratchet ring. You can get the 36 tooth slightly cheaper. But yeah, it looks like they basically just got rid of some moving parts. They basically held the inner drive ring and made only the outer one floating. So less parts moving generally means more reliable, which DTs were already really reliable, so I imagine these things will hold up really, really well. Again, I didn't have one of these to actually pull apart and test for you guys, but with the drive rings being basically the same, it should sound just like the 240s or the 350s. So that'll get you an idea on the tone of the hub. So that's all the hubs I've got in this test. Again, all of these are great hubs. I have no problem recommending any of them to somebody. You just kind of let your own personal preferences dictate on which one you want to go with. They're all very serviceable. Most are pretty easy to get parts for. They're all backed by good companies. Yeah, you can't go wrong with any of these options. So just kind of let your own personal preferences and style and budget kind of dictate which way you go. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below, and I'll keep more of this stuff going. If you've got any more detailed questions you'd like me to answer, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see ya.